think there is a lot of talk in town about AI being in a bubble, but I think it's more like POCs, just like a POC bubble, right? So everybody takes their prompts, minimal use case, and they kind of get it to POC, and they're like, wow, amazing, right? It's kind of like doing a magic trick wherein you pull the rabbit out of the hat and it works, and you're like, I've accomplished GenAI, right? But what happens is when you take the same system where you actually pull the rabbit out of the hat into production, the hat itself might actually change, right? Instead of the rabbit, you might now start picking up birds and squirrels and whatnot. So that variation in terms of how the model behaves when you have a real world environment, that is the biggest challenge in terms of taking anything to production. POC, you don't really have to worry about that many usage. But the moment it's in production, you cannot really tell your user, hey, my model is having a meltdown right now, please stop using. You can't say that, right? People expect it to work like software. So that's where most of our work actually goes in, to ensure that the model, when it's like in the same number of examples versus the large number of examples, it kind of behaves identically. That's a lot of work that goes into kind of ensuring the systems work like that. That is one of the reasons why we are able to kind of take it to production. The other scenarios in terms of how the model is fine-tuned, Riafy, we don't really believe in prompt engineering. We kind of go out and fine-tune the model for the client's use case. That gives us this unique advantage, right? We are now in a position wherein the model is significantly more stable, and also the fact that variations in terms of a user's question or like tone, all of that can actually be controlled. And on top of this, when we kind of fine-tune for a behavior that the client wants, we also take a look at what the client actually has in terms of data. If you have taken, like you have even attempted GenAI, you already know that a website of a client has the same information probably written in several different variations. Because over time, website is managed. Sometimes you do it for SEO, sometimes you do it because it's like over time it was like value 1, maybe 6 months down the lane, 6 years down the lane, it might become value 2. So these kind of discrepancies, even minor discrepancies, can actually affect the outcome of the AI model significantly. And last and most importantly, making sure a use case kind of works stable across a lot of different scenarios. It also requires a lot of extensive conscience and testing. So when or before like any model goes into production for us, we do extensive red team testing. So we have a system called testing grid. What it does is it simulates testing scenarios. So for example, if you're taking a ticket booking scenario to production, it kind of creates all kinds of scenarios in which we can create questions. We can test it against different destinations. We can test it against hypothetical destinations. We can even test it against like future days, past dates. I know some people might actually think about saying the next Friday, next Friday, the Friday before last Sunday, all kinds of weird things, right? So there is always a challenge in terms of a client's QA team being able to create all these scenarios and test manually. So that is where the testing grid system comes in. So many different nuances to kind of actually getting the production system, which is probably 70% ready, to kind of something that's like 99% or like even higher. So that gap is quite large. That is where you need an expert team. If you have like one internally, relatively good, but if you don't, it's best to kind of go with a partner who has actually worked on these use cases, so that you will have like the minimum coverage, right? This is what they kind of have in their pedigree. This is what they do to get you from 70% or average to 99% excellence, and then that kind of makes your life a lot easier.